Now, we talked about the law of value. The law of value, again, states that your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. So what does that mean for your worth? That is potential. Your worth, right? Your worth is determined. So it's not your worth is this, it's determined. And determined means that it's potentially going to be X if you do more Y than Z. You're going to have more money if you give more value than you take in payment. Got that? Potential. Here is how you make actual money. The law of compensation states that your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. So do you understand that if you give more value than payment, you're going to actually make people really deliriously happy and they're going to give you more business? So the law of compensation says that when you do this for so many more people, the more people you do this with, the greater your compensation will be. So this is the actual payment is determined by expanding that circle of people who you serve. And the better you serve them, the more money you will be worth. You'll be earning. Your compensation depends on the amount of people you serve and how well you serve them. And how that's dependent upon the value that you're giving that's in relationship more than or greater than the payment you're taking from them. So I asked you about law number 2, the law of compensation. Identify a way that you can expand your reach and increase your impact. So how can you expand your circle of folks who you're serving? And how can you deepen that impact to serve these folks so that you can expand your compensation? Does that make sense, everybody? I love that one, the law of compensation. Law number 3, that's the law of influence. So your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interest first. So how do you place other people's interest? Do you put yourself above or in front of other folks? Or do you put other folks in front of you? This is, you see how this goes. The more people that you put first, that's the way you're going to expand your circle of the people that you serve. And how you serve them is going to determine the value. Okay, so see how they're all tied together, value and then compensation and influence. So list 3 people that you'd like to connect with. And what value would you bring to each of them? Okay. Think of 3 folks that you would like to connect with and then tie some value to each of them. Some things that you could offer them that would have value or be of value to them. I'll tell you one thing that a lot of people have heard of before, and it comes from this. And I believe it started with this. I'm not sure if Ivan Meisner started this with here's the guy who created BNI, or if Bob did this through this law of authenticity. I'm sorry, the law, that's the next one. I let it out of the bag, the law of influence. But have you ever heard this? All things being equal, people would rather do business with someone they know, like, and trust. Has anyone ever heard that before? All things being equal, people would rather do business with someone they know, like, and trust. So if you think of 3 people who you would like to connect with, once you connect with them, they're going to know you. And that's why we start thinking about how you can offer them value, because once you give them value, they're going to like you. And once they see that you don't want anything in return from them, they're going to trust you. And then the natural next turn is that they're going to want to do business with you. That's the law of influence. Number 4 of the 5 stratospheric success laws. Number 4 is the law of authenticity. The most valuable gift you have to offer it's yourself. The most valuable gift you have to offer is yourself. Opening up and being authentic, being real, being yourself, putting away all the things that you show people to try to impress them. You know what impresses people? Vulnerability impresses people. Showing that you are vulnerable, showing that you need help learning things. That impresses folks. That's authentic. Asking people for help is authentic. Understanding what positive things that you can offer, because these are things that you care about. Show me where someone spends their money and their time on. And this is, I believe, is a Maria quote. Show me some things that you spend your money and your energy and your time on, and I'll show you your values. That's authentic. The most valuable gift you have to offer to anyone is yourself. So I'd like you to list 3 positive qualities that you've heard somebody say they admire about you. What are 3 positive qualities you've heard someone say that they admire about you? And then part 2 parts of this. What are 3 things that are positive that you see in yourself? Okay. That's number 4, the law of authenticity. And this one now is my favorite. The 5th and final law of the 5 stratospheric success laws from the Go-Giver, written by Bob Burg and John David Mann, is the law of receptivity. The law of receptivity is law number 5. And this means that you're open to receiving. The key to effective giving is to stay open to receiving. This one, again, like the first one, it's hard to understand really how deep this concept is. But once you really see what it is, it becomes so clear that it's like taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back. If you do nice things for people, but you're not ready to accept the gifts that are waiting for you for doing that. A lot of people have self-limiting beliefs. They got big hearts, but they've been told their whole life that they can't do things. They're not destined for good stuff, that they're not worth certain things. When you get past all that, you block out those those voices, the crap advice that people are giving you, and you open yourself to everything that this universe has to offer to you. And don't have to think what that is. You can't think, because then you're going to be expecting things. You can't expect it. You just have to be open to accepting anything that the universe has to offer you. But once you really do open your heart and your mind to being worthy of accepting anything that is and can come your way, because you do so much for other people, you will start receiving things in abundance. And the only way to do this is what law number 5 says, the law of receptivity. The key to effective giving is to stay open to receiving. So I'm going to give you some examples. I hated compliments. I needed them. I needed to hear, you did a good job. It looks great. I needed it. It was like, it's scratched my heart, touched it, just reached in and pet my heart, that's what I needed, because I didn't have a lot of that growing up. I didn't have a good self-vision of myself, low self-worth. So when I did lawn maintenance or cutting someone's lawn at 9, 10 years old, and my Aunt Pat used to say, "Good job, Charlie Brown." All right, that's good job, Charlie Brown. I don't know. She used to say it to me. I used to love hearing that. Did things, washing the cars for the family, whatever it was, to try to get compliments. Loved or thank you. They're told I did a good job. But I was uncomfortable when they said, "You're smart, you're this, you're that, you do this well." I wanted it, but I didn't know how to accept it. Till one day, I don't know where it was, I saw somebody say, when someone gives you a compliment, what you're supposed to do is just open your hands, Take the compliment into your heart and just say, thank you. Thank you. Even sarcastic, right? Oh, thank you. But even just doing that, just thanking them and not saying anything else is being open to receiving that compliment. So that changed a lot of my relationships, because what happens every time someone gives you a compliment and you'd say, oh, you look like you lost weight. Oh yeah, not really, thanks for saying that, but I know it's not true, because you have a low self vision. You see yourself differently than other people see you. Someone says you look like you lost some weight, just say thank you. All right, maybe it's just I got a good shirt on, it makes me look a certain way, but it's not important. What's important is they're giving you a compliment. Just say thank you. All right, and move on. Every time someone tries to pay you a compliment and you shoot them down, you tell them, no, you don't really even know, because I eat so much food and I have a lot of hard time with it. They get sick of hearing that. It's a form of complaining. All right, it's self-complaining, and no one wants to hear that. What they want to hear is thank you. And they probably want to hear something back, right? Because not everyone knows about these laws. So when a lot of people pay you compliments, sometimes they're doing it because they want one back. And so that's fine if you want to give somebody a compliment back, as long as you're authentic about it. But better just say thank you and move on. And that actually helped my relationship with some people, because I wasn't always being negative anymore. Started being proactive and positive. So that's an example of the law of receptivity. So I'm going to ask you to identify some areas in your life that you tend not to receive well. Okay, so practice small ways of being open to receiving. What does that look like to you? Thanks for watching that video segment. If you enjoyed it and like to see more content just like that one, click over here. If you'd like to see that video in its entirety, click over here. Thank you.